What is up, everybody? Clint Esposito here with the Clint Esposito Show, number 39. And basically, I have I guess a little story about a man named Jed. No, I have a story. It's basically a good, synopsis of how I feel about our medical system. But it didn't happen with me or a person. It happened with a dog. But I feel like the veterinary runs off the same exact set of standards that the human health system does. Okay, so we'll start with the whole thing. It's issue with I set up a VCam. VCam. That's V right now in the other room. Look at him. Oh. I mean, how is this not going to be the best podcast I've done? With the VCam. We'll switch it back. Boo. Yeah. Oh. Sorry, I did the wrong one. Boo. Ah. Oh. So anyway. You can see right there Vern's belly is, I don't know if you see it on your screen or not. I have a cursor on it. Vern's belly is shaved there. So he had a big, sarcoma, big bump on his belly there. And we kept trying to get it taken off, but he also has a heart murmur. This is a rescue dog we got, kind of rescue. It was owned by some woman in New York City, and she, he got the bump on his stomach and wasn't as cute. She decided to get rid of him. So we took him 3 years ago. So, he has an issue with his heart. He has degenerative heart disease because he's a degenerate. No, I don't think he's a degenerate necessarily. But anyway, he has that. So then he got the big lump on his stomach, which we took to the vet we were going to, and they were like, well, we need to do a, what the hell did they do? Something on his heart, an echocardiogram, right? They had to do that so that they could see if his heart was healthy enough to do surgery. So what do? They heavily sedate him so that they can check his heart. Okay? And then they come back and go, no, you can't do the thing. His heart's not strong enough. And I'm like, you guys just you guys just put him under basically to do a procedure. Why didn't you just do the other procedure? That would make sense, right? Just do the procedure that you need to sedate him for the procedure you want to do, instead of sedating him to do a procedure to see if you can do the procedure. Okay, this is issue number 1. That didn't make very much sense to me. So then they come back and go, no, you can't do it. Nothing you can do. Nothing we can do. So then the thing starts getting bigger. It gets so big that it starts to actually rupture and bleed. So then we're like, okay, you got to do something. So then we go back to them, this is months later, and go, hey, it's starting to bleed. We have to do something. And they go, oh, well, check with these other places. Why didn't you say that before? That there were other places that might do it. So we go to another, so let's go with the heart thing. When we initially find out he's got the heart thing, they give us 2 medications. One's, something to help the heart. The other one is literally Viagra. He's got no nuts. Why does he need boners? I mean, I don't have any idea. You explain it to me. Okay, so we take him off, so we start giving him boner medication. And he gets very lethargic. He doesn't want to do anything. He just sits around. He's not acting himself. I'm taking him off the boner meds. We don't need him, to have 4 hours worth of boner throughout the day. He already humps his bed. He was actually not humping his bed. So they gave him Viagra. He decided not to hump his bed anymore. I'm like, this doesn't seem right. I'm going to take him off of it because I have an issue with authority. No, I mean a little. But, because I'm like, he's not acting himself. Let me take him off this medication. He doesn't even have balls. So he starts acting normal. He starts disappearing out into the woods again. He starts having a good time. He's himself. He's playing with the other dogs. So we go, which everybody goes, when we told the doctor, they go, or the vet, they go, well, I mean, that's a shame because that's a really good drug, and dogs usually react really well to that. This is you're gonna notice common references to this very phrase. Normally, dogs react well to that, or tolerate it well. It's something like that. Okay, so then we'll go back to VCAM because you don't want to watch me. So then we go to this other doctor, vet, give him all the echocardiogram, all that stuff. He decides that he thinks that he can do the surgery to take the thing off of his stomach. So we take him in, he does surgery, take that off of his stomach. Everything goes good. His blood, they did blood work before to see if any of his other organs or anything were failing, which I'm like, they're not, because he runs around like a maniac. Typically, this is obviously. So, he says he thinks he can do the surgery, the procedure. We do it. We get him home. He does surgery. He gives us these pills. So he gives us, now mind you, he's on some kind of stomach stuff, or heart pill already. We stopped giving him the heart pill for a little bit. He gives us, for that surgery, he gives us two pills. Which one is this? Carprofrin. Who the hell names these things? Carprofrin. Okay, so this is give with food. Discontinue if any vomiting, diarrhea, or not eating. Okay, this is on the bottle. Holding it up, but you can't see it. Then they give us, and this is a anti-inflammatory. Okay, so then, which is what the new thing they like to do, is they give us, let me find it, trazodone. Okay, which is they gave it for like anxiety. Okay, it's basically like an it's like any of the other anti-anxiety pills or whatever that they give you. I'm going to read about it for a little bit, but we're going to get through this story. So they give us those two pills, and first day we just give him the one that's the inflammation pill, and he does fine. Bethany goes to work, and I do not give him the trazodone that day. What my reasoning was, I don't honestly remember, but he seemed to be doing really good. Like, he was stoked. He was, like, probably too rambunctious. So, this is a couple days in, because he had surgery on Monday, and this is like I think right off the bat I didn't give it to him. I'm notorious for not taking pills like this, okay? Unless they're pain pills. Here's my thing. Why weren't they... So that you give them the anti-anxiety stuff, like the basically stuff that makes people go and shoot up schools, right? Instead of just giving him a pain pill for the pain, because they're like, oh, if he relaxes, then he'll be able to heal better. Well, have you ever taken an opiate, especially when you're in pain? Especially when you're in pain, it's amazing, right? You don't give a shit about anything. The dog would have been just like this, just asleep. But they don't do that. They give an anti-psychotic medicine. Okay. All right. Whatever. So I forget to give it to him. Then the one day Bethany comes home, lets all the dogs out. Vern who is not supposed to be running or jumping for 14 days, is chasing Marley around like a friggin' maniac, she says, and just amped. So then she's like, well, we got to give him the trazodone, right? So we can relax him so that he doesn't run around and hurt himself. So we start giving him the trazodone. I again missed it a couple times. So then he, in the morning when I make breakfast, he'll have Heart with me. I'll cut up the heart because basically my, there we go, he lifted his head up. I am a, whatever, crazy person. So I think that if he has a heart issue, maybe we should feed him real raw beef heart because it's going to have all the elements and the, bio factors and everything for a heart. If a heart has all the stuff in it for a heart, if you didn't know that. I don't know if this is groundbreaking stuff or not, but there's actually everything you need to make and repair a heart is in a heart. So that's an interesting thought, right? So I've been feeding him heart every morning. The dog will eat anything. We give him CBD for his eye. He's got a goopy eye. You could hand him the pill. He would eat the pill. He doesn't care for the most part. Every once in a while, he'll pick something out. Even this other pill, his heart pill. Just put it into dry food. He doesn't care. He eats the thing, right? So now we got this trazodone, and now I'm having to shove it down his throat because he won't even eat it. I got him to take it in cheese one day. The next day, I put it in a piece of heart. Would not eat the heart. Wouldn't even, he picked it up, he got the pill out of it, wouldn't eat the heart. He literally, from that moment forward, stopped eating heart. Wouldn't even come in the kitchen when I had it out. Was just like, nah, not going to do it. So, the one night, Bethany gets home and she feeds, I forgot to give him the pill again. So when Bethany gets home, so she's like, I'll just give him both pills in his food. Gives both pills in his food. Couple hours later, throws up his food. I go through his food a little bit because it still tasted good. No, I'm like, did he eat anything? So I go through his pill. Guess what? There's a little round thing, and she's like, let's see if that's hard. So it's in the, the paper towel or whatever. So I smush on it. No, and it just flattens out. It's basically perfectly round like that pill was. So, okay, he throws up that one time, fine, until the next morning, kind of has a little bit, throws up again, but we're like, he's obviously just, we thought it was Stella, who almost like has probably thrown up 10 times in her entire life. They're like same age, she's 8. Actually, Vern never throws up either. Neither one of these dogs, like, they can eat anything for the most part, never throw up. Stella, since she was little, if she just found if we're on a pond, she finds a fish, whatever, good job, you can eat it. If she's eating crawfish, just live crawfish. I've never stopped her from eating basically anything. V seems like he's eating anything too. So he can eat anything, never has a problem. Throws up that night. I'm thinking it's Stella for some reason, because she acts weird no matter what happens. She acts weird. So it come out, she's acting weird. I'm like, maybe Stella threw up. It wasn't. It was Vern. So in the morning, he has upset stomach. We think his stomach is upset just because he threw up at night. Now he hasn't had his precious pills that he needs to survive this ordeal. So then he just threw up because he didn't have anything all night. So whatever. I think another day, he got his pill. I think Bethany gave it to him, and then basically the one night he is up at midnight throwing up. So then I'm kind of following him around, what's going on? And then we decide that we just need to give him his pill to help him relax. Maybe we should give him the pill so that he can relax and go to sleep. Okay. So I jam this pill down his throat again at 12 something. Go to sleep. V goes to sleep. Wake up at like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, and he's just puking everywhere. And then he's like just downing water, as much water as he can, then he just pukes it up. So I'm like, listen, and then he starts to puke up blood because he's been puking for so long. So then I'm like, we got to take him somewhere. So we call our vet. This is Saturday night. Nobody's in there until Monday. We call the local emergency vet. They don't have enough people for us on staff. They don't have enough staff members for us to bring the dog in then. So then they give us two other options. We go to the vet that my parents typically go to. Stella's gone there, everything. So, oh no, not there. Sorry, I'm replaying. So we go to another vet hospital, like further even up into that neck of the woods. So we take the dog there, and they go, okay, we'll admit him. They bring him in the back. They're like, okay, we need to do, I think, my gut feeling, okay, at this point I'm still off as well. Although when we were having the issue at night, I'm like, she goes, give him the pill. I go, do you think he's throwing up? Do we think that that's going to help him at this point? So we go to the vet, and my gut feeling is that 3 days in, he sprinted around the house, and he's got all like 3 layers cut, so they had to go through the muscle too. So I'm like, maybe his inside suture's ripped, and he's got some internal bleeding because his belly looked a little bit like distended as well. So they do a chest. So she hears something with his heart, obviously, because he's got heart disease. So then the vet there is like, oh, it's got to be the surgery, the anesthesia from this surgery advanced his heart disease. Okay, the surgery was on Monday. This is now Saturday. On Tuesday and Wednesday, he ran around like a maniac. So you're telling me between Wednesday and Saturday, now he had the anesthesia on Monday, but now on Wednesday to Saturday, it advanced his heart disease so badly that he's throwing up everywhere? This is what you're trying to tell me. She's like, we need to X-ray his chest. I go, are you going to get his stomach in this X-ray? Yes, we'll get both. He's small enough. We'll get both his chest and his stomach in the X-ray, and we'll be able to see what's going on. Okay. So they go in, they do the X-ray. She comes out. We don't see any fluid on his heart, or he doesn't have a rupture in his stomach or whatever. So now I'm sitting here going, okay, there's no blood, which I thought for sure there was just blood dumping into his abdomen, and this is what the issue is. So now they come back, but none of that's happening. So I'm like, okay, now let's think about the timeline and what we gave him. And now they're, I'm trying to remember the timeline because a lot went on here. We're in the vet's, in the emergency vet hospital, whatever, room from like 5 o'clock until like 10 o'clock in the morning, basically sitting here waiting all this out. So we're waiting for the scan to come back. She reads it. She comes back, says no fluid, but we still got to wait for the specialist to look at it. Okay. So this takes 2.5, 3 hours for a specialist apparently to look at this thing. It is first thing in the morning, but whatever. So now they come in at one point, and I'm like, hey, he didn't want to take this pill. I told her about us not giving it to him, then giving it to him, and he progressively got worse the more that we gave it to him. And, even that night we gave it to him, he was feeling bad, we gave it to him, and then he profusely was throwing up. And her response was, of course, dogs usually respond well or tolerate that drug well. Okay. And then she goes, but she appreciates me trying to follow the timeline. Okay. A little bit patronizing, but we'll give you the benefit of the doubt. So then they leave. They come back. Another woman comes back in. She now tells us that Vern has pneumonia. and that they want to keep him there. He's in an oxygenated cage, okay? Because earlier they checked his oxygen levels and they were way low. And I go, okay. And then she's like, now we're going to keep him. We want to keep him for 24 hours and put him on an IV of antibiotics. And she starts explaining all this stuff. And I'm like, I'm not leaving him for 24 hours. And she's like, well, yeah, I don't recommend that. And I'm like, well, I'm not leaving him here for 24 hours. She goes, well, we almost lost him doing the chest X-ray. And I'm like, well, I'm certainly not leaving him now. You mean he almost freaked out and died because you guys were strapping him down to do a chest X-ray? And now you guys think it's in his best interest for us to leave him here in a cage in the back room with other dogs barking while you put antibiotics into him with an IV and he has degenerate heart disease. This is where we're going with this. So I didn't say quite all of that. I did probably say a little more than I should have. But I was like, so she goes, well, we need him in here and this and that. And I go, this is all good. I go, for the pneumonia, I go, but is this the reason that he's throwing up? Well, no. And I go, she goes, well, I don't know what you want me to do about that. And I'm like, well, I want him to not be throwing up profusely everywhere. This is what I brought him here for. I didn't bring him here for pneumonia. I'm glad that you caught the pneumonia, but is he still going to see the big thing on his stomach, his belly? That's his suture there. I'm like, he's still going to be vomiting everywhere? Well, we gave him an anti-nausea medicine. Okay. But we still don't know why he's throwing up. No. All right. So now in my head, I'm like, he's obviously throwing up from the pill that we're giving him. And now and I keep saying that, and they're like, well, they normally tolerate them well. Okay, but he's not apparently. So now you want me to put him on anti-nausea medicine. So let me get to this. Hold on. We'll do the internet first. Okay. So let's go to this. You're going to have V kind of in your top corner. I'll switch it to me just so that it at least looks right. Okay. So trazodone for your dogs, safety dosages, and natural alternatives, which nobody offered us a natural alternative, but I'm just going to read you this is every drug that you get, right? Trazodone can be used in dogs off-label to manage anxiety and phobia-related behavioral disorders. The dog doesn't have a phobia-related behavioral disorder. He got surgery. I don't know if you guys have ever had surgery, but it's not actually a behavioral disorder to be in pain after surgery. I don't know who, maybe I'm wrong. I've had a fair share of surgeries. It didn't feel like that, but you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm not a dog or a doctor. This is groundbreaking since studies show that behavioral issues have a negative impact on overall pet welfare. Plus, behavioral problems are amongst the leading cause of euthanasia in dogs. I don't know why the euthanasia has anything to do with dogs. Anyway, can I give my dogs? You can give your dog trazodone. Get it on Chewy for 15 cents. However, first you need to consult your vet. Ask for the correct dosage and usage instructions, as well as confirm whether this medication is the right choice for your dog's condition. This is insane, first off. Trazodone, active ingredient, trazodone hydrochloride, brand, blah, blah, blah. Is a human prescription medication in veterinary medicine, which is weird because you weren't supposed to take, what was that other stuff? Ivermectin, that was an animal drug. So I don't know why all you idiots were taking it. It was for animals. Although I'm going to give my dog a anti-anxiety pill that's for people. Makes sense. In veterinary, trazodone can be used as part of a multimodal treatment plan for managing various forms of anxiety. Oh, that's a lot to unpack, dude. We're going to give our animals... I want to cry right now. Like, just this is society. I want to cry. Whew. All right. And phobias, fireworks, thunderstorms, loud noises in dogs. So to address the main question of the section, yes, you can use trazodone in your dog as long as you have your vet's approval and of course a prescription, since trazodone is not FDA approved for use in pets. When to use trazodone, the benefits. I wish it was every other thing I've found that was like, it's very well tolerated. In dogs, trazodone can be used on an as-needed basis for managing short-term anxieties and phobias. Here are popular uses. Trazodone for sedation, anxiety. Separation. Sorry, I'm slow. Noise phobia, confinement, stress management, insomnia. All right. Now, it didn't actually say that typically it's well tolerated, which like literally every other article I found, but I got it for this. Now, every time I said anything, they go, no, they usually, really? Because normally dogs do not have any issues with this. It's totally fine, typically. Potential side effects. Oh, you mean, wait, and risks of trazodone for dogs. Huh? What? Apparently, when they go to the veterinary hospital, they let you know all about the benefits and do not cover. It's like at the end of the meeting, he goes, and also you may have side effects and may include bleeding, anal bleeding, vomiting, diarrhea, and it shows a dog prancing across the field. Yeah, this is awesome. I'm shitting everywhere. Okay, anyway. Same as any other medicine. I'll read that again. Same as any other medicine. Trazodone may cause side effects in some extra sensitive dogs. In most cases, the side effects subside after several days of continuous use. Should I have just kept giving Vern this pill until eventually he just stopped throwing up because he died from the pill? He's just dehydrated. He stopped throwing up finally several days in. He stopped throwing up because he's so dehydrated he has nothing to throw up or shit out. This really makes me feel sick. It makes me feel bad. Therefore, before requesting a dosage modification, vets suggest waiting a couple of days. I'm going to read that again. Same as any other medicine, trazodone may cause side effects in some extra sensitive dogs. In most cases, the side effects subside after several days of continuous use. Therefore, before requesting a dosage modification, vets suggest waiting a couple of days. The most frequently reported side effects of trazodone in dogs include the most frequently reported side effects of trazodone in dogs include diarrhea, vomiting, and gagging. Oh, you mean like the gagging he did before he vomited all over the place? That type of... Is that the same or no? That's not the same? Increased appetite. He hasn't had that. Panting or rapid breathing, which seems safe if you have degenerative heart disease. Shaking and agitation. Remember, we're taking this because to calm us down for anxiety. Lowered blood pressure also seems good. Colitis, inflammation of the colon. General weakness and or fainting. Ataxia, loss of muscle control. Lethargy and sedation. Hyperactivity or restlessness. This is what we give them for anxiety so that he's not restless. And let me tell you, when he was feeling like shit, he wouldn't do anything but sit there. He certainly didn't look like this, okay? Did not look like that. He looked like this. Hyperactivity, restlessness, parapism. I don't know what that means. Persistent and painful erection. We're just trying to give this dog erections like nobody's business, dude. This is the second doctor's trying to give this dog boners. He doesn't even have balls. I'll repeat. Accented anxiety or even aggression. Accented anxiety. I don't know what that means. Oh, here we go. These side effects are temporary and, as already mentioned, will lessen over time. However, the most severe possible side effect of trazodone is the so-called serotonin syndrome. It develops when serotonin levels in the brain get too high. The signs of serotonin syndrome include vomiting and diarrhea, excessive salivation, tachycardia, increased heart rate, hypertension, elevated blood pressure, hyperthermia, raised body temperature, which he did have when we took him in there. They're like, he has a fever, which made them go down the rabbit hole of thinking that he has the pneumonia, which he might have, but he might not have. I don't know. Dilated pupils. I didn't do the pupil test. Pronounced skin sensitivity, vocalization or depression, blindness and disorientation, difficulty breathing, axtia and or paralysis. Now remember, the dog is having anxiety, not pain. It's not pain. It's a behavioral related stress disorder because he had surgery. He doesn't need an opiate, you know what I mean? Because he could get addicted to the opiate. Somehow he's going to start finding opiates on the street, all right? And then eventually they're going to become too expensive, and then he's going to go down to using heroin. My dog will end up being a heroin addict because of this surgery and them giving him pain pills. Serotonin, let's keep it going. I mean, listen, this drug is typically very well tolerated by dogs, so I don't really see why your dog would have this issue. This is not typical of what happens, okay? Serotonin syndrome can accumulate in a coma and depending on the severity of the situation, even have fatal consequences. Therefore, a dog with serotonin syndrome is considered to be a medical emergency and requires antibiotics, apparently, and oxygen in a cage. That's what they require. Require immediate veterinary attention. Additionally, trazodone can interact with certain medications and should be used with extra cautions in dogs with some chronic diseases and conditions. For example, trazodone may interact with these medications. Select serotonin reuptake inhibitors, SSRIs, for your dog. Antihypertensive drugs, which sounds like another, you know what I mean? I don't know what that says. MAO inhibitors. Digoxin, aspirin. Diuretics. Metoclopramide, non-steroid anti-inflammatory drugs. I don't know what any of these words are. They do that on purpose. Additionally, combining trazodone with following drugs increase its sedative effect. Some antibiotics, which this is before the antibiotics. But my whole thing is here, antifungals. Anyway, you get the point. Oh, let's see what it says. Guidelines. Dog usage guidelines. Keep in mind that trazodone kicks in relatively fast, usually around 60 to 90 minutes. Your dog will start vomiting profusely all over the bedroom floor. No, that's not what it says, actually. If using the drug on an as-needed basis, administer 1 to 2 hours before stressful event. On the other hand, when used for long-term stress management, trazodone may need a few weeks to achieve full efficacy. If you are not convinced that trazodone is the answer to your pet's behavioral issues or prefer a more natural solution, you are in luck. Pet CBD products have gained a lot of attention. So, here's my point. Here's my problem, I guess, is what I should say. I'm going to swap it. Sorry, people. Here's my problem, I'll say. Never at any point, okay, I'm not even done here. Never at any point did they act like this was probably the issue. All right, I was a crazy person for bringing that up. So now this vet, okay, when we go to leave, they give us our instructions, okay? The instructions are, we were given 4 pills, Clavamax, and Enrofloxacin. So those 2, I believe, are antibiotics, 2 antibiotics. Then sucralfate. I'm not sure what that is. And then Surena. Okay. So they gave us 2 antibiotics. They gave us an anti-nausea medicine, and then they gave us something else that you mix into a slurry. Okay. You crush up the pill, you mix it with water, you suck it into this little syringe thingy with no point on it, and then you shoot it down his throat so that this can protect his esophagus because of all the vomiting he's been doing. He's been vomiting so much, we need to protect his esophagus. Meanwhile, nobody still has been like, discontinue use of any other pills. Oh, I'll put this. They did actually address his stomach issues and his stomach being uneasy and throwing up. They told us to feed him, they gave us 4 or 5 medications, and then they told us to feed him a bland diet of chicken and rice. Okay, so they gave us 4 pills, didn't tell us to take him off of any of the other pills that I think may be causing some of the stuff, but change his diet that he's been eating for the last 3 years to bland chicken and rice because that's obviously agitating his stomach. Whew! This is a lot longer than I wanted it to be. Sorry I just made noise. V opened his eye. Alright, that's our little buddy there. This is it. This is my issue with our health system. It's basically the health system. I'm just going to leave you with this. Our healthcare system and all those break places, like any break place that you go to, they have the exact same business model. You take your car in for your brakes, right? Then all of a sudden, your tires are too worn out. They would not recommend you leaving like that. This other thing is really dangerous. You can drive it, but listen, you're taking your life into your own hands, and also the life of your motor, okay? Because these 3 things need to be done because your brakes are going to fail you and your motor's going to blow up. So go ahead, take the car if you want. You can take it. It's totally up to you. I don't recommend it. I am the professional here. Okay? You can take it. Fine. You want to take it? Take it. It's up to you. Go ahead. Just blow it up. What do I care? I don't do it, you know? Same exact reaction when we wanted to take Vern. We had to sign a waiver that said that if the dog was to die, they're not liable. Guess what? My parents took a dog into a vet and they were like, you gotta leave the dog here so we can run more tests. Dog had a heart attack. Guess what? Couldn't sue him either. So, I mean, it's bullshit either way. You can't sue the place. Okay? All I'm saying, this is what I'm saying. Personally or pet-wise, if you feel like something is wrong, go with your gut. And they like to pretend like they can hold you there. Believe me, I broke my tib fib clean in half, then came through. The guy's like, standard tib fib, not an issue. I'm like, I don't want this guy screwing my leg back together. I argued with him for 45 minutes. I left that hospital and I went to a doctor I trust to fix my leg. It was 6 of one, half dozen the other. I got an infection, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, my leg works well now and I'm happy with I still have my leg. I'm happy with my decision. It works well. But if you feel like something's wrong, it's your health. It's your dog. You can say you don't want to go through with something. So, this is just everybody's following the same BS. Oh, it's good. It's safe and effective. You've heard that. How much have you heard that over the last couple of years? Safe and effective. All right. Side effects are rare. That's fine. They do happen. Okay. If you think something's going, I'm gonna do this. Haven't given him the anti vomit, whatever is anti-nausea medicine. Haven't need to give him the stuff to protect his esophagus. Haven't done any of that. Guess what he's done for the last 2 days? Slept in his bed, drank a bunch of water, gone outside and peed, came back in, held his food down, had his antibiotic, didn't throw that up. So these people are giving us anti-nausea medicine and going to do all this other stuff instead of doing the only thing that needed to happen. Take him off of the drug that's causing the issue. And this is how our healthcare system works. Pills are not always the answer. Adding 2, 3 pills are not always the answer. This thing keeps getting longer, but I keep thinking of stuff. You know, like some of these people are giving their dogs these pills for things like fireworks, right? Oh, it's the 4th of July. Let me load my dog up with trazodone so that he has anxiety from the pill I gave him and that he starts throwing up. They're like, my dog hates fireworks so much. I give him the pill. He still freaks out. He still throws up all over the place. He gets so nervous. He just can't take fireworks. No, how about you're giving him a drug that's screwing him up? Then he's got to listen to fireworks. Let's traumatize the animal as much as humanly possible because we're so friggin' bright with our Western medicine. Okay, I got to get out of here before I freak the F out. Comment, like, subscribe. I'm sure you guys have a million stories now that if you think back on with your pets where you're like, maybe, even your elderly family members that didn't want to take that drug. Drugs are not the answer. Recreational drugs are. You know why? It's my choice. Nobody's forcing me to do recreational drugs. Okay, everybody. That's it. I'm glad I got that off my chest. Like I said, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it, let everybody know that, I don't know what we're letting people know, that I'm a conspiracy theorist, I guess. There you go. I said it, and now they're going to throttle back my video. Damn it. All right.